podcast for humans.
All right. Welcome back to a podcast for humans. I'm
Hello,
Evan.
hello. Hey, Ron.
And the world is still a crazy, crazy place.
Yes, it is.
Our resident Texas expert has...
Yeah. I'm from Texas, and goddamn, I hate and love that place.
I thought it was God bless Texas.
Mostly hate it at this point. Mostly the stupidity that comes from there it's ridiculous. It's the new heartbeat bill.
Yep.
It's at 6 weeks of pregnancy. That is the cutoff for abortion. And it doesn't matter if it's rape or incest, whatever. They do not care. And naturally that comes with some ethical quandaries, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. I just want to begin by saying that I support a woman's right to choose, but I don't necessarily see this as like a move towards moral excess or a moral virtue for Texas. I see it more of a move. So what's been happening is people are moving into Texas, and the powers that be fear a shift in the voting demographic.
In other words, they're trying to scare the Democrats away.
That's how it seems to me.
Yeah, I mean,
as usual, I
put
can
it past
prove
them.
nothing.
I wouldn't put it past them. It's not ridiculous to say, because we know, me being there, I've been speaking to a lot of people when I lived there. Californians, New Yorkers are moving there because they can sell their $1 million home and buy 10 homes in Texas.
Yeah.
It's not a bad plan. I mean, it really isn't.
I do it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty practical. But the problem is, it is Republican controlled. People from those states, California and New York, mostly are not Republican. They're completely not conservative. And right now it is shifting. And if they sense that, it's not a moral thing, as you said.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're looking out. No, they're not. They're looking for their own pockets. They need to make sure they're elected. And if more liberal people start going, it's going to change the dynamic of Texas.
I've been pretty politically aware since about 2000. So I remember when Clinton got elected. I remember that day, like, Nickelodeon wasn't on because the president was getting elected. So that cheated me out of cartoons because
You remembered that.
Oh yeah,
took that, and I took that personally.
I remember. Yeah, I remember when the first episode of Rugrats aired. I was there. I watched it on a black and white TV. I swear to God.
Pretty cool.
I swear
That's
to God.
pretty cool.
I watched
Wow.
the first episode of
That is
Rugrats
awesome.
on a black and white TV that had a knob. It like kick. Yeah.
It's like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I first actually became politically aware during the Bush Jr. election, and what I have
Nuclear.
nuclear. Hey, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on. Won't be fooled again.
He was ridiculous.
He was your governor.
He was just a wholesome redneck. That's it.
What was that thing where he was like celebrating the execution of someone? He's like, don't burn me.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a woman.
I believe it. I just don't know.
he was mocking a woman that was set to be executed.
What did she do?
Murder. Like, that's the only way you can
okay.
get the death penalty, I hope.
Well, nowadays it's probably going to be abortion, but they have bound.
Well, you might actually be more correct than you think at first glance. So, one thing about abortion, one of the major arguments for it is that it keeps it out of back alleys and butcher shops.
Yeah, because one way or the other, if a woman is desperate enough, she will go to figure that out to get an abortion.
So it absolutely should be safe.
Yeah, I mean, and because humans adapt to their environment, they have to leave the state or get it done some other way, which women have been doing that for thousands of years.
So I'm going to share a picture that's going to go right here.
Okay, all right.
But it's the classic coat hanger story.
Yeah.
So many women died from that. Like, you'd have people that
Very risky.
lied about being doctors and they can get away with it because there was no legal oversight into what they were doing.
Yeah.
So, hey, Yankee Doodle Dandy, let's get that little critter out of there. And A lot of women died.
Infections,
Bled to death.
and
You name it.
And it's it's not a light experience. Painful.
Oh yeah.
You're sticking something metal and it's I thinking about it is painful to me. So I can't imagine what a woman's going through at that point.
It's an absolute horror show.
Yeah, and
in every sense of the phrase.
And I understand both sides, but at the same time, I'm more on the side of let the woman choose.
Yeah.
And right now, as we see Texas, they're taking the quote-unquote moral high ground, the religious high ground, whatever you want to call it. It's all political. Mm-hmm. Their constituents are happy. The Republican conservative part of Texas, which has ran Texas for as long as I can remember. Mainly the cities are Democratic.
Yeah, so especially cities like Austin.
And Austin, Dallas, Houston, El Paso, even South Texas.
So those metropolitan areas are what skew the state blue.
Yes, yeah.
But it is still red
just
at this point.
Tiny blue spots, and the rest is all red.
So the implication there, Texas, I think it's like 34 electoral votes, somewhere around there. And if Texas swings blue, it will not be possible for this country to ever elect a Republican again. And that is
interesting.
That's right. I think about this stuff.
I didn't think about.
That's the big fear.
So yeah, look that up, people, and actually look at that. That's interesting. And also, the recent scandal with Texas was the power grid went out. Houston, Texas happens to be the energy capital of the world. Yet, Texas had a complete power grid shutdown during the winter storm, which doesn't make any logical sense. If you are the power capital of the world, energy capital of the world, and your whole state shuts down, that's because they never updated the power grids. Why? Because all the money, instead of going to infrastructure, updating those things that need to be updated, they went to certain people, investors, the Texas government. If you research the Texas government and all the cabinet, you'll see that they all have their hands in energy, oil, natural gas. That's a bit of a problem when you have the government, which is basically making money off of that. So who do you think the money's going to? It's not going to
special interest as usual.
Interest, yeah.
It's like, hey, all that infrastructure money you got, I know how we can grow it. We're gonna invest it in a multi-market money fund, and it's gone.
It's gonna disappear.
It's gone
into multiple offshore accounts.
The United States is so behind the times. Yeah. Like, we have a computer in every person's pocket, but our bridges, our roads, our dams, our power grid, the way we get our energy, our pipelines, it's all going down.
About 7 years ago, I believe we got like a C+ with our infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's awful. Was 7 years ago.
It's like a third world country.
It's not good. And just because we take for granted what we have. And if we don't invest in our infrastructure, that's going to happen more. A winter snowstorm's going to happen. Now, some states are adjusted to it. Wyoming. You take Wyoming, you take Montana. Those people are used to it.
Does Wyoming have electricity yet?
Right? You take those people, they're used to it, you know?
Sorry, Wyomings. Whatever you call yourselves.
Midwesterners, they're used to that happening. They can sustain it. Texas, you don't exactly think winter snowstorm Texas. But Texas is the disaster state of the United States. It's just such a large landmass. The problem with that is they get all kinds of issues. And when they occur, people don't know what to do. I mean, there was a tornado that once hit Dallas. I think it was a few years ago. It wasn't going into downtown Dallas. People did not know what to do. A tornado touched down, just like, fuck you. And it shut down like half the freeway for like a week, just no power.
I remember when the snowstorm thing actually happened, everybody came out of the woodworks like, yeah, global warming, right? Checkmate, idiots. Because it snowed in Texas.
The misunderstanding is just, it's, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's not getting warmer. Like just stop.
Hell, I lived in this state since I was a boy and ain't snowed damn once.
It's man. I don't even know what to say about there are so many people that are misinformed and I guess there's so much knowledge out there now, that it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. It is.
Sure, because everyone believes they are arbiters of facts.
Yes, and not everyone's a scientist. I'm not a scientist.
Me either.
I'm not. That's why I would look at scientists and say, hey, look, what do you know? Because naturally, I don't know what you know.
I mean, someone says climate, I get over the top of it.
Yeah. Real simple.
Real simple.
You know, we have to be more careful with what we read and also do our own research. There's nothing wrong with doing your own research. Now, and that's even precarious now because look at Q-Anon. You know, they do a lot of research. Those people dedicate their lives to research.
Oh yeah.
All the wrong research though.
We got these guys watching. Back when Trump was in office, they were watching his little jutsus.
Oh man, yeah. And what was there was I believe he was an author and a physicist, and he said the American thought process now is my opinion and ignorance is just as good as your knowledge and facts.
Was it the Japanese guy?
I don't remember.
Mikio Kako?
I need to look him up. But that was a pretty
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
No, it was like probably from maybe the 70s or 80s.
Oh, okay.
Carl
Sagan.
Asimov.
Oh, Isaac Asimov. Okay.
Yeah. And he did state that resonates to this day. People's opinions are now like, well, my opinion is just as good as your knowledge. Like, no, it's not. I mean, I have opinions. Everyone has an opinion. I'm aware though, like I can sound like a maniac sometimes. It's fine. Like I have an opinion doesn't mean it's fact.
So here's the problem with that. I think a lot of people are either being trained or training themselves to identify their being with their views or their opinions.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
And you're denying who I am now.
But that's the problem with giving yourself a title.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm the kind of guy who does ... or I'm a this, or I'm a that.
It ends there.
Yeah, that's where it ends. You're not any of those things.
Complicated, are you?
You're not any of those things. You are a human being. That's as far as it goes. Whatever you choose to do with it after that is up to you. But you are not that thing. Like no one is born a Democrat or a Republican or a Mormon or a cowboy.
And I keep seeing these memes of like, we're tired of you two. Like, why do you keep voting for them then?
Yeah.
Why do you keep voting for them then? Why do you keep doing it? Stop doing it.
So there's a persistent theme that voting third party, you're stealing votes from another candidate.
It's dumb. Yeah, I've heard it so many times.
I believe in that, but in a different way. Yeah, I am stealing votes from those candidates. Yeah. I don't want them to have that vote.
And I have, when things go wrong, I have to sleep at night knowing I contributed to this bullshit.
Yeah.
And I refuse to say that. I rather vote and not be like when somebody's saying, oh, I can't believe I voted for this guy. I didn't do that.
I mean, people do this for politicians. They do it for religions. They do it for sports.
Yeah.
People that get super hyped up about sports tickle me.
Fights.
They tickle me so pink.
I mean, they go to jail for fights. Like or they get in a riot.
Yeah.
And they destroy half a city. Like,
T1, burn it down.
Yeah, or the guys. What was the one comedian? Is like, we did it, and the dude's like, yeah. Like you're fat with cheese dripping off your goatee. You didn't do it, bro. You didn't do it.
Yeah, it was our cheering.
He didn't do shit.
Our cheering pushed him over the edge, boys.
And it was like, it's ridiculous, and it
goes back to distraction.
Tribalism.
Yeah.
And it goes back, distraction. Distract the populace from
bread and circuses, my dude.
Yeah. And it was funny because when I was younger, I thought like sports, like it just seems like a distraction. I didn't understand the concept. Like it seems like they're just trying to distract you from important things. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't understand the concept. Like I didn't understand the world enough. Now that I'm older, like it is true. It's just a little distraction here and there to keep you from paying attention to things.
Well, I didn't grow up with my dad, so like the whole sports thing never took hold with me.
Yeah.
But now since I don't have it built in, when I see adults arguing over it, guy throws ball far, guy catch ball cross line. Mm-hmm. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
Well, he's wearing a different shirt.
He needs to die. You're like,
yeah,
bro,
dude, screw that guy. I hate that guy. He throws ball but wears wrong shirt.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And they'll idolize.
Now, I'm not gonna shame people. Like I'm not hating on people for liking sports.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
the lengths they will go to idolize these certain people. No, I respect athletes. Yeah, so do I.
It's
a great thing. It's amazing what they can do. but people take it too far. They don't see them as humans anymore. They're just a person. It's just a person. And and then too, I remember there are guys that were getting fights with their families, and they'll ostracize a part of their family for a sport that they're
Green
not a
Bay
part
fan.
Of. Like, are you serious? Did you just go to jail for a game?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It wasn't even politics. Like, no, it was a local game. Like, are you joking right now?
But it's also, you're also a pariah if you're not a fan.
Yeah.
So it's like when a Christian and a Muslim will fight each other, but then team up against an atheist.
Yeah. I can't believe you don't believe in God.
What do you mean you don't watch football?
Here we go.
Like, it's boring as hell.
Yeah.
Like, what else can I say? It does not matter to me at all.
And I try not to put people in the category of like, well, a lot of people are just simple. I don't believe humans are just extremely simple. I do believe people choose to be. People choose, like, you know what? I just want this simplicity in my life, and I don't want to go past this. Yeah. But then we have...
That does keep things simple.
It does keep things simple, but then they decide they want to have opinions on things that are much more advanced than they are. For me to have an opinion on something, I have to do research, and I have to be like, all right, I have to look into it, because I know that I don't know enough about a lot of subjects. So I look to people that have dedicated their lives to something.
What if something that you don't know about just immediately gives you a bad feeling?
That I don't know about? I have to research it. Like, if it gives me a bad feeling, I still have to research it.
What if the gut reaction is just like, ooh, this makes me
just visceral,
sick? Like,
I still have to, because humans are afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's a silly con. We're not chimps. We are very intelligent creatures. We have the ability now, especially with phones, to look up anything we want. It can be stupid stuff, or it can be a series of articles that can teach us things. There are scientific articles all over the place you can just read. You
can even read. You can learn from reading abstracts.
Yeah, and even
you can go out and Google Scholar. Scholar.google. It's out there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's complicated, yes. And there was even for law, I try to look up and learn about the law. It's complicated, yeah, but it's out there. I remember somebody was like, "Oh, what do you know about the law?" I'm like, it's in English. Like, it's Google. Just look up Google. You know what law students do? They read. They read all day long.
Yeah.
You can do it too. You can just take 5 minutes here, read about this.
Well, there was a precedent set in 1876 where they found out that you can't actually do that with your pinky finger.
All we have to do is just read things. And you can get it wrong. Yeah, if you're not actually, dedicated to that, of course we can all get it wrong, but we can also learn things. And it's much easier now than ever before. And now everyone wants to have an opinion with no actual factual basis. And like you said, it's part of my identity now, and you're disrespecting that. Like, no, I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying it's wrong.
But for a person who can't separate the two, they can't rationalize that.
I'm not insulting you. I'm just saying.
It's but these are my views.
That's cool, man, but they're wrong. Just come on.
Can't be wrong. TV Box said so.
It's starting to be. It's becoming polarizing. People are hating each other for this.
Yeah.
Especially for the abortion issue. I mean, you see people that are really willing to. It's been like this for a while. Planned Parenthoods, people have been protesting outside of those for years now. And there are some cases where people were attacked verbally, physically. Women were blocked. But sometimes they weren't even going in there for abortion, just going in for just care. Just, it's cheap care for myself. Yeah, you must be a whore. Like, no, it's just normal female care that they're providing. But people just automatically categorize them. You're in a box now since you're here in front of me.
Right.
Like, you can't do that to humans. Now,
I don't like labels.
Yeah, that's why labels are dangerous. Yeah. Now, we can sometimes generalize things like, oranges, they're mostly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Chocolate bars, most chocolate bars are pretty cool. But once you start doing it to people, sometimes we can, people that go to bars all the time. Well, this guy goes to a bar every day. He's maybe an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Probably safe to say.
He gets driven home drunk every night.
Probably not.
Or worse.
Maybe he has some problems.
Yeah.
Maybe the people he knows are probably all alcoholics. It's generalization we can do.
Yeah.
But people don't know how to mix up the rational generalizations and then racial ones. And then there's you must be a liberal. Like, what are you talking about?
I get that from both sides because
Yeah.
every once in a while I'll like go stupid and leave a YouTube comment.
Yeah, you can't help it, and then you're just devoured. By
You
the
must
masses.
be a this or
Yeah.
a that. And it's like, well, of course that's what you'd say because you're a blah blah blah.
Yeah, like there was like, the one time.
Tell me more about myself.
And
Thank
same
you.
thing, Texas. There was they banned strippers that from 18 to 20. They couldn't be strippers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They said you have to be 21 to be a stripper. And I was like, well, it's not a horrible thing because the world of vice and stripping, it's a pretty ugly world.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not for the, you know.
It is a very exploitative
Yeah.
world.
And for a young girl,
Super scummy dudes.
for a young girl, they can easily just brainwash them.
Yeah.
And then
Like the people that run the system are just...
some of the top comments were like, now they're gonna have to sell their bodies. Like, why?
Yeah, it's like...
Why is that
if
the
they-
immediate?
If they can't dance, the bar is so
they're
low.
clearly just prostitutes. I'm like, no, these
Yeah.
are. I said these are capable women that can do a lot of things. They're like, how dare you?
capability, you
No,
mansplainer.
no, that did happen to me. I was attacked, and I was like, why am I be? They had a job. Like, look,
You mansplaining monster.
and I was like, this isn't the same as an infrastructure job or any other job. If I can't get a kid and say, hey, this is what you can do when you're older, then probably it's not a real job.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell my kid, hey, you can sell coke when you're older.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. That's not a real job. And nor is stripping. It's work, but it's not a
I mean,
traditional
you can
job.
get a W-2 for it.
You can, yeah.
But
And-
for people to be so condescending and have such low expectations
Yeah.
of people, it's like, well, they're not allowed to be strippers, so to the street they go.
yeah, and I was like, why is that their only option? It's like, well, they have the right to. I'm like, yeah, we all have the right to.
Well, I mean, not legally. No, they don't.
Oh yeah.
They don't have the right to do that.
I didn't even go there. Because there was one woman. She was like, "Oh, what if your wife decided to sell herself?" I was like, "Good for her. We would get a divorce. We'd separate, and we both live our life
Yeah.
separately." Like, and then she didn't respond. I was like, "What did you expect me to say?" Well, I'm gonna beat her. Like, no.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna
you know?
save her from the
Yeah.
streets.
No, like divorce papers. Congratulations. We can live separate lives.
Yeah, like
There's
if-
nothing wrong with that.
My wife even like said, I was thinking about it. Like, no, the relationship's already
It's-
over.
What are you crazy? Like, yeah, and these people were just like, you must be a misogynist, like for
Yeah, for saying women could be more
women
than
can-
strippers.
I was like, women can work. These women can work anywhere. I'm like, they're not just their bodies and their pretty faces. They're much more than that. And they just didn't know how to. They were just like, you're just a hateful person. I'm like, how? It's like you're just like Greg Gabriel's
buzzword.
conservative piece of shit. I'm like, why? I'm like, these women are more than capable of doing more than this. They just wouldn't get it. And
But that's how the tribal lines work.
Yeah.
If your group is told to have an idea,
this is
you will have it to the exclusion of all other ideas. There's no room
Yeah.
for rationale. There's no room for nuance or reason.
And I got in this stupid. I was on for 2-3 hours like an idiot, arguing. And then in the end, I was like, "What am I? What am I doing? What am I doing?" And it that gave me like a visceral like, because it's a sad day for women in South Texas.
Yeah.
It's like a sad day.
They can't shake their ass for skeevy dudes anymore.
Yeah, a barely legal girl
Yeah.
can't get paid by a dude trying to fuck her, paying her to be a prostitute, because they get offers all the time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
come on with me, I'll give you $2,000.
Yeah.
All the time. It's not like they don't. And I'm like, you know what? I think that's okay for her to be like, go work at Starbucks for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, now that you can't be an exotic dancer, maybe school's worth
The world
taking
is
a look at.
open to you.
And then people also made the argument, I remember, that, well, how are they going to pay for college? I mean, people go in debt to go to college all the time.
everyone
If you want to
else.
be a stripper after that to pay your debt,
Yeah,
fine.
Like everyone else. I don't know. Like, I know plenty of women who aren't strippers. Because that's another thing. It's like, well, I know women who aren't strippers, and they make it work by not selling themselves all the time. I don't know how they do it. I don't know, like, work and traditionally.
I mean, if the gender roles were reversed and guys could make money rubbing their balls on people,
Yeah.
I wouldn't just have the buck stop there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I just have to go get fucked in the ass
It's
now.
over now. Guess, now I just got to sell myself.
No
out.
other work that I could do.
Yeah,
So I'm
there's
just a
plenty of
dumb
work.
guy.
And there were women saying this. They were just like, well, this is all they can do. I'm like, why do you keep saying this? Stop saying that. It's not. These women are not useless. They're not. No, they can do a lot.
But wasn't there also a woman there that was an ex-prostitute?
Yes, and no, she said she's like, well, it seems like you have a hate. No, like I don't have a hatred for these women. And I told her like, your experience sounds awful, and I can't imagine what you've been through. Would you want these women to have the same experience? She's like, no, like exactly. You know firsthand more than any of these people how selling yourself can be dangerous and leaves you scarred. And and she was like, okay, I understand. Yeah, no, she's like, I guess we had an emotional reaction. Like, I understand. And I saw the emotional reaction. I was like, and I don't hate people that go into sex work. No, I mean, it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. I feel for them because it's not easy. It's not easy work.
Right.
And she even said, it's like, yeah, I've had a horrible experience with men trying to kill me. Like, yeah, I'm sure you did.
It's an unregulated market.
Awful world.
Unregulated markets are open inherently to exploitation.
And I told her, she's like, would you want a young girl to go through what you went through? She's like, no, I wouldn't. Like, exactly. So my opinion is she can have any other job. She can go make applications anywhere. Work at a gas station, work at Starbucks, or, I mean, they're not dumb. They can work at so many different places. Mm-hmm. Why not? And why not? And some of them are like, well, they're paying for their college, like, so that means they have an education. So that means they're smart. They have a brain. So they can do so much. It was just an astonishing argument that I got wrapped into, and to this day I have not forgotten. I have not the hatred I got for saying these women deserve more than just selling themselves. And they were just like, how fucking dare you, you misogynistic asshole.
All it takes is for the right leader to say the opposite.
Yeah.
And then you'll immediately become the hero.
Yeah. And it was pretty crazy, the brainwashing some of these people want into. It's like, some of them are like, oh, I bet you got denied by strippers. Like, I don't go to strip clubs.
Yeah.
I don't pay for strippers. I'm sorry, and they were like, oh, you just hate women. That was like, what? Now
it's like, why would I be denied by strippers? I have $8. And
now
I'm
an awful person for not paying for sex.
Yeah.
Now I'm just an evil person. Like, oh, now you don't pay for sex. Like, no matter what, I lost. No matter what, they were trying to find something.
It's like, what, you think you're better than me?
Yeah, like, no, what is going on? Like, I don't understand it.
It's clown world.
It was.
The whole thing is clown shoes.
And Facebook is made to create just turmoil, and there was a show I saw. I believe it was Mr. Robot. Okay. I believe maybe. I'm not. Don't quote me.
The Freddie Mercury kid.
Yeah. But there was one part where the guy was looking. There was like a side NPC character, and they were looking at the TV, and they were looking at conservatives do this, conservatives do that. This dude was looking and getting angrier and angrier. Then went outside and was like, well, fuck you. Like some random. Then they started arguing. They got in a fight. Didn't you know this person?
Yeah.
But they were triggered by the media.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you need to hate these people. You see what these people are doing? Fuck those people.
It is propaganda.
Yeah. And the same thing with the other side. Fuck these liberal assholes. And then you see the Proud Boys and you see Antifa destroying each other on the street. For what? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And
well, they think it's for something. Everybody does things for a reason.
Yes.
It might be a reason that defies our comprehension. Yeah. It's a reason to them.
I'm the good guy. You're the bad guy. And you're gonna
so says the box.
You're gonna kneel to me. That's
right.
It. And everyone.
Because you're subhuman.
Everyone say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Everyone believes the same exact thing in that regard.
Instead of looking at somebody, it's like, you're a whole person in front of me. And we can come to an agreement. Now,
it's like, well, you believe the things that you believe. There's a reason. Yeah. I want to know that reason.
Yes, there are extremists. Naturally, there are. And there are people that are just completely too far gone. But not everyone's like, those are rare people.
Yeah.
They're very rare.
The people that are actually willing to kill, fairly rare.
Taliban, that's a whole different category. We don't really have those here in America. And then we run into them. I mean, there have been some, but it's like pockets. One guy out of the 20 that was like, he was fucking nuts. And he did something bad. You know what? They were arrested. They were taken care of.
Like Bryan Riley.
Yeah.
Bryan Riley is the latest manifestation of Florida Man. Bryan Riley is a 33-year-old ex-Marine
Yeah.
who, based on his schizoid Q-Anon fantasies, has just murdered an entire family and left an 11-year-old girl scarred for life.
Yeah. Murdered the entire family in front of her. Yeah.
Here was his thought process. He asked his friend for a first aid kit, saying he was going to go down and help out with Hurricane Ida. His friend gives him the first aid kit. He loads up with multiple firearms and body armor, and he'd been imagining a girl named Amber, which I think is an interesting name because, like, Amber Alert.
Amber.
That's like this
Yeah.
little girl young girl going missing.
Yeah. Where
So-
was this again? Florida?
Yeah, the city, I'm not sure. Maybe St. Petersburg.
Okay.
I can't really say. But there was a judge, and he had fantasized that this guy kidnapped this little girl and then brainwashed her into thinking that she was his daughter.
Jesus Christ.
And then, so he killed the mom, the dad, a baby, and then another kid, I think. He also shot this girl multiple times, but she played dead and
That
survived.
child would never be the same.
No.
The rest of her life.
No.
It's gonna be a lot of healing work if she ever can. And yeah, that QAnon, that is a cult in itself.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous one too.
It's what I call like the idea forest fire concept. So one crazy, like, apply it to flat earth, apply it to this, whatever you want. It's that seed of a terrible idea. And back in the day, you know, if you were crazy, you
crazy by yourself.
just had to be crazy by yourself.
Yeah.
You were just like that town's crazy person. It's like, oh yeah, there's Cletus. He thinks that goat is the second coming of Christ.
Yep. Yeah. And that's it. He stays there.
But now with the internet, all the people that used to have to be crazy by themselves, they're finding a voice in
All over.
chat rooms and message boards and what have you.
Little echo chambers.
Yeah.
They're just like concocting crazy ass shit.
So they're all backing each other up. I remember back when I had Facebook, I was invited to one of these groups. I just got a random invite, and
Join?
yeah, I joined it. It's like
Just to see what's going on.
Well, I had no idea what to think
Oh,
otherwise because like my dad rides for BACA, which is the Bikers Against Child
yeah,
Abuse.
yeah.
Those are the guys that they'll go to courtrooms and
With abused children to
Yeah.
give them confidence to
Right.
speak against their abusers. Yeah.
yeah, so they can testify. They
Yeah.
don't feel scared to enter the courtrooms. Like they
Yeah.
got these big guys
Yeah.
that'll they just stand there,
Yeah.
and that's usually all they have to do.
Yeah.
They're victim advocates. They're great people.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? Oh, so just instinctually, I'm like, yeah, child abuse bad.
Yeah.
Why not support that?
Yeah.
So I go on, and they're like, look at this person. They have red shoes. You know what that means? And I'm like,
What does
that mean? And they're like, you have to eat a baby in order to like earn the privilege to wear red shoes. And I'm like,
Do I?
how do you know this?
I've seen
and they're
that.
like, everybody
Yeah.
knows that. I'm like, I didn't.
Yeah. I'm like, where the fuck did you get this?
They're like, are you a
from?
pedophile? Like, do you stick up for pedophiles? I'm like, what is this place?
A red shoe.
Yeah.
It got all that from a red.
And like, does Cardi B eat babies? Like,
Yeah.
she wears red bottoms.
Yeah.
But I was just because I didn't even know what QAnon was
Yeah.
then, but now it matches together. Like that's what that was.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
It all comes together. And
So interestingly enough, though, about Bryan Riley, he's not dead.
they arrested him.
He's alive. Yeah, they shot him in the abdomen, but he will survive.
He got cut shot.
So I can't wait to hear what comes out of this.
Yeah, man, and that was one of the, there was another man. He killed his own kids, and he was a QAnon follower.
So like they wouldn't be molested, or
I don't understand. Same thing. He was just mentally unstable, but all it takes is a little ember, just a tiny little ember to spread.
I don't know if it's just becoming more reported on.
I have no idea.
But it seems like mental illness is becoming more and more
Prevalent.
and more
Yeah.
prevalent, common.
Yeah.
Just it's an everyday thing now.
Yeah.
Like so many people that I know have something up with them.
And extreme mental illness, like not a a negligible thing, like pretty extreme ones that can send you into a homicidal rage.
Yeah.
And that's not good. And it's hard. Traditional psychiatrists
Yes.
don't know how to handle this. Normal people like us, we can study it, but we're like, what do we do? There's nothing we can
Yeah,
do
you
sometimes.
can't help anyone who doesn't want to be helped.
Especially schizophrenic or a bipolar 1 that has hallucinations.
Yeah.
Then somebody goes, you need professionals to take care of that
Bipolar,
person.
narcissistic personality
Yeah,
disorder,
yeah.
borderline personality disorder,
Yeah.
agoraphobia,
Yeah.
severe
Yeah.
anxiety and depression. It's like these are just everyday things now
Yeah. Yeah.
that we're in the midst of.
Borderline personality, that's a complicated one. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
extremely volatile. Like my wife Heidi, she had that, and that was we knew we had issues, and when you're young, you're naive and you believe, oh, I know I can handle this. No,
Love will show me the way.
no idea how to handle
Yeah.
it. Just think you can because your egos are
Right.
Well, I've done this for
You're
so many
19 and
years.
invincible.
Yeah, of course. And once you get older, it starts to wear on you. It starts to destroy you from the inside out. And you start feeling it. And then, with PTSD and borderline personality disorder and agoraphobia and then anxiety and stress and depression, it all really it caves in on you. And then she had borderline personality disorder plus PTSD. That's a volatile mix. And, with me, I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to handle mental disorder. So we would lash out at each other. And, it was so hard to deal with, yet we thought we were doing it right.
Yeah.
Everyone, and you're in your little box. Yeah, I'm doing this right. You have no idea what you're doing. And until you get a different perspective, you stay in that. And some people would never get out of it.
Yeah.
Ever. Their whole lives. And that is terrifying to me. To know that there are people out there for 45 years, they've been in their box of extreme mental illness. Just be like, this is fine. And what is that dog? Just everything's burning around them.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong.
And then one day they
everything's
get the
wrong.
wrong bagel and everyone at Starbucks has to die.
Yeah. Yeah, like I guess this is it.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
And their delusions.
Time
kick
to
in.
destroy everything I love.
Yeah.
So I guess I would call it an acute sensitivity to mental health issues. Because my brother is in jail for murder.
Yeah.
He has like the demon thing.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty prevalent too.
yeah,
the demon
so
thing.
that's interesting because I really think it goes by society. So I've always been
Christianity.
curious. Yeah, so since we're a Judeo-Christian nation, by on average, people's negative delusions will manifest as demons.
Yep.
But I've always wondered, is there a culture on the planet where schizophrenics have a good time?
I think shamanic practices maybe.
Yeah.
They know how to take care of them.
Like
In a way.
instead of angels and devils, like they just have like fairies and elves, and so like maybe in Iceland.
Yeah. Not some kind of demon that comes out and
Yeah.
wants to kill everybody or
So
rape
it's
people.
like, I've seen the forest gnome, and everyone's like,
Oh.
hell yeah, dude.
That's Steve, man. He's cool.
Yeah, I say I love Steve.
He's having a good time. He brings good tidings.
Yeah,
Give him some food.
he's a
He's cool.
good luck gnome.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, and each culture is. I really wonder. Yeah, you're right. I wonder how. I don't know if those mental illnesses were around. In ancient times. Or,
I think so. I think a lot of it has to do with formation of religions and what is it? Angel spoke to me. Now I know the truth.
Yeah, and Native Americans, how they would handle it. They probably wouldn't be like, this person's crazy. They'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
he's a seer.
It's like, well, he's a great
she's a
spiritual
seer.
teacher. Yeah.
She can see the other side. And we need to take care of her and make sure she's good. She doesn't feel depressed, or that person doesn't feel ostracized.
Yeah.
They feel okay. They feel like, oh, they're wanted, they're needed, and they're taken care of.
So like in a way, like the society like fostered the condition, fostered the illness,
And they took care of them.
but it
physically.
worked in their favor.
Yeah, and they weren't depressive and anxious, and everyone's against me because no one was against them.
Yeah, it's
So the
like
community
give that dude a bunch of
depended
peyote.
on
This is
them,
gonna be awesome.
Yeah, depending on them, like, and then we woke up, like everyone's like, "You okay?"
Yeah.
They took care of here. Oh, you're mentally ill. Get away from me. And
So-
that can create some paranoia,
Yeah.
and depression and anger.
Government's watching me. God's
Yep.
watching me. The devil's
Everyone
watching
hates
me.
me clearly because fuck
Yeah.
you. Boom.
So what happened with my brother is that the first time I met him was in 2010, I think, the Christmas of like 2009, I think that time of year, and he showed me his manifesto, and he was like, me and you can take on all the sinners and be the first ones to walk into heaven.
Hold up.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't talk like that.
No.
And that's when I first started to really believe that something was like,
Going on.
he's on meds, but like
He's really like
something's that just gave me a really, really bad
he
feeling
was on the edge.
because that is like you're on the borderline of committing some awful atrocity.
Yeah.
Once you start talking like that.
Yeah, and I mean,
Because to be the first ones to walk into heaven, we have to be dead.
and you have to.
And why would we be dead?
And what did you do?
Yeah.
What's giving you like my reward is heaven?
Yeah.
The first one, like what did you do?
Yeah.
What are you trying? That reminds like terrorists.
Yeah.
In the Middle East, like if I die, if I sacrifice myself,
Yeah.
I'm going to heaven.
It's the same.
Same thing. Yeah.
So 2 years ago, he strangled and pummeled his grandmother to death.
Good God. Yeah.
His mom's mom. Like we have the same
yeah.
dad, so it was his mom's mom.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to say I saw that coming because I kind of did.
Yeah.
But the way mental health treatment works in this country is that you don't always get the help you need.
Nope.
And it's like, well, you seemed fine on the evaluation, so out you go, youngster.
Yeah, they know what to say, or they don't want to be there, and it's like there was,
Or they just don't have the money to deal with it, or the
Yeah.
time. It's like, well,
Yeah.
there's people that are worse than you, so
Yeah, or you're like, oh no, I'm good. And more people need my help. Need
Yeah.
help more than me, and they walk out and do something insane.
Yeah.
that gets them in trouble. Yeah, just like there was a example of a guy in the VA, the Veterans Affairs Office, and the main issue was he was feeling he's gonna hurt himself. So he walked in and said, I need help. He was really calm. He's like, I really need help now. I'm going to hurt myself. And they told him, you seem fine, man. You seem fine. You're good. He walked through the parking lot and he lit himself on fire.
jeez.
Broad daylight, just like, and just lit himself on fire.
He went full Tibet.
And he was like, yep. He's like, this is what's going to happen now.
Wow.
And he had it in his head, like, if you don't help me, this is what's going to happen. He did it. And some people are on that edge all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it be suicide or homicide, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. I mean, and you look at people come from poverty. Mental illness just, thrives in that environment. And poverty from all over, doesn't matter where you go, mental illness can really thrive. And
breeds the same
people
results.
are on the edge, whether it be, I'm hungry or, I don't feel good, I'm stressed, I'm angry, and then explosiveness comes out. It can be out of, to their kids, other people, or desperation, whatever, and then things just get worse and worse.
So that's a really good point because look how we treat each other knowing this. Like we've known this since Columbine.
Yep.
This
yeah.
the idea that this sort of mass violence thing can happen like that. Mm-hmm. But yet we still treat people so poorly.
Yep. And it's like,
well,
it's just
we've had a million mass shootings in the past 20 years,
just
but
movies.
it's not going to happen again.
It's just in movies. That's not
Yeah.
real.
Never me.
Of course
Not going to
it's
be
real.
me.
I mean, you can look at Reddit, the extreme violence that goes on.
Oh, yeah.
Reddit. And I mean, shootings constantly. It'll take some people just like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Push that little edge and and they're gone.
It's like, hey, just wanted to let you know I have nothing to lose.
Nothing. No. They have some people literally have, and then it's like, I feel better now.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Whatever happens to me, don't care. You're dead.
You're
Ha-ha.
dead. I feel better now. And that's, and we're...
Why would he do something
we're
like this?
fostering...
Because he had nothing to lose.
Yeah, we're fostering that kind of behavior and with lack of empathy.
Yeah.
It's really...
narcissism, vanity, me.
There was a video I saw on YouTube, like the American Narcissist Machine. And it's just creating a bunch of narcissists, me, individualism. And in reality, we need a community. It's okay to build communities. It's okay to feel connected to your neighbor. And there's nothing wrong with looking at other people and say, you're like me. But some people are like, no, they're not like me. Conservatives, liberals, everything in between. Oh, they're different. No, they're not.
I myself, I'm 100% individualism, but I think we as a culture have betrayed the meaning of that word. It used to be, hey, I'm very individualist because I care for myself. Now that word means the hell with anyone that's not me.
Yeah. I'm going to take everything from everyone else now because
I deserve it.
Yeah. And instead of, I'm going to take care of me in order to be able to take care of other people.
But I'm 100% pro-community.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can be both. You can
But I think a good community is made of strong individuals.
It's been convoluted now.
Yeah.
And
we've made it into a very self-centered and narcissistic thing.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, look at the guy that was also, they found during right before the Capitol riot, there was somebody who was laying pipe bombs in different parts of the city. They found the FBI is looking for the person that was dropping pipe bombs.
Yeah, terrorist.
Like, why? And look, I mean, nothing went off.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they were pulling a prank, or whatever they were doing, it was to a point where it's still alarming. Whether their plan probably failed, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But why would they decide I want to commit mass murder with bombs? Somebody was on that edge. Even if it was a prank, it's not a prank.
To put myself in that person's shoes, why would I do something like that? Well, I would have to believe that there was an existential threat to my life. I would have to believe that the threat was represented by people of a certain political stripe. And I would have to believe that by my action alone, I would either stop that threat or be an inspiration to others to stop that threat in my absence.
I'm a martyr, or
right.
A bit of a narcissistic ego trip going on. Like, I am the one's going to change everything. Yeah. And it's...
The same thing happened when those idiots tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer.
I don't remember that.
Michigan's governor.
What?
Over COVID restrictions.
Oh, yeah.
Their plan was like to ransom her to end COVID.
Yeah.
Something.
That some guys did it to a principal also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Political violence is never the answer. Yeah. I've been saying that for years, especially within the past 4 years.
And we don't live in a tyranny. Let's get this, like, we don't right now. Like, we can't, things can easily turn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the history has shown things can just be like, no, your rights are gone. But it hasn't happened. Now, can it? Yeah, it's on the edge, but we're not there. There are countries right now that are actually tyrannical. China, they will iron fist you to an extreme point. North Korea, Turkmenistan. There are countries right now that are legitimately tyrannical and that will pour down hell on you for just mentioning something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the worst tyranny that we suffer now comes from the media.
Yeah.
Just the fact that, and it's messed up because it's wrapped up in First Amendment issues. It's like, well, we're just using our freedom of speech.
Yeah, everyone's using their freedom of speech. But are you? And then,
well, they are, but they're using it to be propagandist for profit.
Yeah.
So as long as they keep that machine going, and then the more people that get hurt and die from listening to their respective station, and then
you see what happens. You see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, oof.
See what happens when the Democrats do this or conservatives do that.
Yep. You need to rise up.
You need us.
You need to rise up. You need to listen. You need to listen to us.
We will lead you.
And this is the way you should feel about this. That's
right.
I hate when I hear that. Like, if you don't feel this about this, then you're wrong. Like, stop telling people what to feel. Yeah. Stop it.
So journalism has mostly fallen by the wayside, and what we have now is people who editorialize. They have an opinion, or they have an event. Mm-hmm. This thing happened. Here's what I think about it. And to your point, here's what you should think about it. Mm-hmm. Here's what they think about it, and here's what they're going to do to you if you don't stop them.
They are the enemy. Like, what? And you're creating these people that you've never met, and I have met some very polarizing people that have made me very angry. But I know that I met those people. It's not everyone. And I had these preconceptions, even of conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to take time to be like, no, it's not all of them. No, it's not. There's some people, they're just awful people. That's just shitty people. It's not a certain group of people. Some people are just shitty. We know. We've all met shitty people.
Let me check the camera real fast.
Okay.
Some technical differences.
We done fucked up. But
We did.
It'll be an all audio. As you probably already see it now because you're going to be listening to all audio.
You can't see us, but you'll certainly be able to hear us.
Hear it all.
Hear it all here on the podcast for humans. Good night, y'all.
Well,